Greetings, members of the great Roman Empire. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Lycan Legion. Episode 3, Twin Domus. So in terms of bedrooms, the initial 4 founders of this here city are definitely going to have some of the nicer bedrooms as far as the colony is concerned. So here's the layout for those first 2 bedrooms. Made of marble. And we'll get the areas cleared out. Alright, we're also falling a little bit behind on food prep. Because Bebo has been farming so much, so I need to make sure that she is cutting food. We have another attack. Attacking immediately. A person named Mole. Oh, it's too bad they're not a dirt mole. A lazy, ugly body purist. Oof, what a combo. Alright, he's basically here, so get the archers together. That went pretty much as I expected. So I'll have Bebo discard the body down into the old body moat. Wow, Moil up. Only been dead for 6 days and he's already like fairly desiccated. And then there was a stash of books. A recurve bow and a crafting book. I don't think having anyone leave our current community is a wise idea with how lightly defended it is at the moment. So with complex furniture done, another thing that I could start to do, which I probably should have done already, I was just distracted, is to set up some basic bedding. So that we don't have to sleep on the floor anymore. And then I'll get around to setting up the shelves. So I think I'm going to make the shelves out of iron. So I probably want to set up the shelves for the actual food shelves first. So these aren't where they're going to go. I'm going to put them in there once there's room. And then once those shelves are set up, I'll set up the general food storage shelves so we have plenty of room for everything. I'm going to micromanage Dars to make sure that we get our beds finally. And I'm going to aim for excellent quality beds for everyone. Which requires a little extra micromanagement, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run, so we spend less time in bed and more time working. Okay, there's 2 more good ones. I took less time than I thought I would. And there's the last one. Perfect. For now, I might want to consider moving the dining table and recreation and chairs and all that into the food storage, only so that we don't have to travel so far to get a meal. But eventually I'll be, of course, setting up a rec room and dining room. That's just going to take a minute. A little bit lower on the priority list. Alright. Bebo, how's it going? You are working your butt off. Good. Plenty of rice. And the foundation for our bedrooms is getting underway. Oh, yes, and the duckling that got laid here, the fertilized egg, is getting dragged in now. My plan was to only name the original 2 progenitor ducklings, or ducks, I should say, they're not lings, and then the other ones aren't necessarily going to have names. The sort of Romulus and Remus ducks. Oops, misclick. Alright, there we go. Gonna be a lot more work to get those bedrooms up, but I included in their layout is where plumbing for plumbed bathrooms and all that will go. So, doing some planning ahead for the future. We're only about a 6 into getting plumbing. Scipia's taking a bit of time with that. We're getting some new meals up, which is good. We ran out of fines. Oh, and it's raining again, so that will be good for the farm. Well, we haven't even sown all the heel root. That's how much rice we've been getting out of the fields. So what I'm going to do for right now is high priority hauls. And I'm high priority hauling so that the rice doesn't decay too quickly from all of the rainfall. We want to pull the crops indoors before it gets destroyed. Also, moving the butchery would be a good idea. So let's go ahead and move the butchery zone. So this is going to be a kitchen stockpile, just like the last one was. And then we'll get a new butchery zone over here. And that way, the corpses don't get rained on. Now that I have complex furniture, I can also put in the vents, but I don't think it's all that necessary right now because it's only really helpful if it's the ambient temperature outside is like below freezing. Okay, now that all the rice has been pulled in, I can lower the haul priority. I was just worried about the rice spoiling. Alright, looks to me like at least the initial granite block pathing is done. So I'm going to suspend granite blocks and go back to marble, as we're going to have a lot of marble for these structures. I think, given this warg here, I'm gonna wake everybody. Well, actually, you know what? It's raining. You know what? Whatever. I'm gonna hunt the warg because the warg is like completely in the way. All right, we got some hits. I wouldn't really care if we like hunt it to death, but fatal bleeding would be just fine. Ooh, brain? Heart? Yep, brain. Nice. That makes my life a little bit easier. So other megafauna, we have another warg off the east, but you know, nothing that is like too dangerously close. Helaba and Bebo are now new lovers. Awesome. So we have coupled up. So we have 3 fertilized eggs. Yeah, pretty soon I'm gonna want like a dedicated area for the ducks to graze, because they're going to be hard to manage otherwise. And we have a wanderer joining. A brave named Hayu has arrived and wants to join. Okay. Interesting. Let's go raffle off the newbie. Question for you guys. Should the new join stay a citizen or become a slave? The reason I ask is they have pretty good brawler stats, so they could be a good cook / guardsman. But our ideology in the Roman Senate and all that, they have a pretty strict caste system as well. So I could go either way on this one. And either way, set up some work priorities. Oh, that's weird. Oh, no, I misread. Well, at least we'll have another stonecutter for now. There is some benefit to that. All right, the initial bedrooms are getting set up. Of course, they need flooring and the rest of the walls, but progress is being made. Hi, Megasloth. I can't believe we still haven't finished sowing the heel root. Well, I think it's because the rice just keeps growing so fast from all the rainfall. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to plant corn. Corn will take longer to grow, freeing Bebo up. And then the other thing I could do... Well, alright, it looks like the new joiner is going to become a slave. The reason I mention this is I was initially going to say Bebo could just focus on farming, and then the new joiner could become her cook. But if she's going to become a slave, I'm going to want to hold off on that for now. Because she'll need to be enslaved. Formally. All right. We have some of the structure of the bedroom. I'm not quite finished with this one here, but it's getting there. I actually might modify it a little bit. I'm going to make a change. I'm actually going to... pull it back one tile. It's kind of annoying, but better to make, you know, structural changes now than later. I mismeasured, so it's my fault. Alright, so you guys want me to enslave the newbie. Got it. And the raffle timer is going off in just a second here. One of the advantages of putting the prison cell here is I'll be able to put a well in there, and then also a latrine. So that they can tend to themselves, you know, without our direct intervention. Okay, the shelves got done. So here we go. We have the kitchen veg shelf. Getting pasted over. Named kitchen veggies. Then we have the meat shelf getting pasted over. And then the kitchen meals. Oh, right, I have to delete the old zone. And then once those shelves are done and being moved and all that, I will, I'll go ahead and start setting up the other shelves for storage so that we don't have stuff on the ground. But there's our little prison cell. And then, likewise, this is not a very comfortable place for slaves, but, like, we do have a little slave room, I suppose. This whole area can eventually become a slave room. Once we move over. So, already enslaved. Perfect. So this bathroom... Yeah. So Doris, just to get those slave beds going. There. Little slave bedroom. Alright, work priorities is just about the same. I'm going to have the slave prepare the meals now, though. So, the slaves, cooking skill is 6, so they're capable of making fine meals. So they're going to be our primary cook, freeing Bebo up to do more farming. Now I'm going to focus on trying to get the bedrooms actually built. Like, fully built, so we can start to move into them. We have a lot of marble available. Perfect. Okay, so over in the bathrooms, get the marble mosaic tiles, and then I'm also going to have marble tiles everywhere inside as well. These bedrooms are going to be grand. And as soon as the areas are done being tiled up and all that, I'll move the bathrooms over, have them be bathrooms specifically for the occupants of the room, and then yeah, a little bit more comfortable living, I think. Now the other thing is that this new joiner doesn't see in the dark as well as the rest of us do, so we're gonna need a torch in the kitchen so that she can actually cook, because as is now, she just won't be able to do it. And the same applies for the stonecutter. Everybody else has, like, excellent night vision, as they are werewolves, or they're Lycan, or wolf bloods. They're dire Lycan, I should say, or wolf bloods. But the new joiner has no such advantage. So they need artificial light. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. So there's one torch, and here is another. Something else that I might want to consider is class-specific food. So, one thing we don't currently have is complex clothing for slave clothing. So, I don't have the ability to make a slave collar or harness, which would require complex clothing. Or a hand tailor, I should say. I think. But, right, because it's not in this list. I would need a hand tailor. But what I can do is at least set up slave-specific meals for the slave. So I'm going to do simple meals until I have, let's say, 2. And I'm going to make the meals of vegetarian. So then I'm going to create a new food policy. Slave meals. Pretty straightforward. And it's just going to be anything simple. Except for desserts. Alright, pretty much all the meat just rotted, so we're going to have to go and hunt some more. Another thing that's important when you're when you have slaves is to keep your weapons stored elsewhere. And it looks to me, I don't know how many ducks we're gonna aim for, but at the moment we've got a bunch of ducklings, and I probably want to call the males so that we just focus on egg layers. So I'm gonna do that as well. So I'll aim for maybe about a dozen ducks or so. I don't actually have like a place, you know, for them to eat or anything like that just yet. But we'll just keep fertilizing the eggs until we have a population of roughly a dozen. Alright, so she is... Oh, the other thing that I meant to do, now that we have complex furniture, is to set up tool benches so that we can cut a little bit faster. That was the purpose of making all that steel in preparation, so that we'll have plenty of steel for the tool benches to accelerate the stone cutters and allow us to build and spread more quickly. All right, these bedrooms are just about usable. So, once everybody's up, I'll move them to where they belong. And then let's go ahead and set up some of the latrines. And then once we have plumbing researched, which it is about almost 2/3 of the way done, we'll be able to also set up sinks and bathing and water towers and water pumping and all that good stuff. So that life becomes a little bit more comfortable for our Lycan Legion. I'm being warned I need colonist bed, but that's only because I'm currently in the process of moving them. So I'm going to link beds here, so that these bathrooms are designated for the owners of the home. And there's the last bed. Perfect. Okay. So these here are going to be for slaves and guests for now, and not our colonists. So our colonists will have their own bathrooms. Now, I'd still like to... I still have yet to fully finish this, because I don't have the walking path, and then I don't have the kitchen fully set up either. So the thing about the kitchen that I would want to set up is an area for its venting, and to protect the venting from incursions. So I'm almost done with that current priority, but not quite yet, which means I am going to take what to build next and start pulling on it, if my internet even has you guys be able to see that kind of stuff. That I am not sure. Now we're still in Joggist, so there's not a huge advantage to setting up the vents now, but I might as well set it up like well in advance. And I'm gonna go a little overboard and just like add a whole lot of vents, just so that I know that the temperatures are really equalized as much as we can, so that the heat generated from the stoves and the torches go out in the winter. That's going to be a lot of steel. Knowing that I'm trying to set up shelving soon as well, I think it would be wise for Darius to obtain a whole lot of iron, because I'm going to do iron shelving. And probably once plumbing is done, have a lot of our plumbing made of iron as well. I won't do the same thing that the Romans did, which is make their plumbing out of lead. That would cause the downfall, would it not? Don't want any of that. Might as well be able to close the door so that our slave actually has some privacy. There's no need to necessarily make them upset, unless it serves a purpose. There is the worry. What? Actually, yeah. Okay. Yeah. There is the worry that not being suppressed is going to cause some issues, but we're working on that. So it looks like the next project is going to be defenses. I'll queue that up once what I'm currently working on is done. So 4 more vents, and then we'll get iron shelves for the kitchen so that we're not storing our food on the floor. Good. There's only 1 shelf needed left. We're losing the ibex meat that we hunted for, so let's continue hunting. It looks like a lot of the easier game is going away. There's only really 1 other ibex. So at that point, we're going to have to do some coordinated group hunting to make sure that that the hunters themselves don't get injured or killed in the process of hunting. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. This last zone here, I'm not going to put a rice on all of it. Ross. I misspelled it intentionally because this is corn and can't have duplicate names. There we go. There's our whole growing zone, minus a few tiles here or there that are inconvenient because they're outliers. So the vent's done. The last thing that I mentioned was the shelving. So I'd like to set up all of the shelves now so that we have a lot of room to grow. It's also possible to maybe nest a brewery in there. Does that be helpful in the future? So these are the initial shelves, and then once the once these are built and the food is moved off of the ground here, I will move the food and then set up the additional shelves. We have a ritual opportunity soon for Vulcanalia. I don't have a good spot, but I could put it in the kitchen for now. It's not great, but it'll have to do. And that was a huge point of the purpose of all of the cotton. is so that we could make the Vulcanalia flag, and then also warmer clothing for the winter. The other thing I wanted to add in here is wort, hops, psychoid, smoke leaf, and then let's make sure it doesn't include insect meat or human meat. We don't need to store raw fungus in here either. We don't want fertilized eggs, but that's already unchecked. Insect jelly we don't need in here either. No kibble. Pemmican and water and hay, all that stuff is fine. Okay. That looks about right. So there's only one shelf needed left. And then we just need to make sure to haul we need to haul all the food onto the appropriate shelves. So now that I have plumbing done, that allows me to finish or get close to finishing the bathrooms. So setting up the bathrooms in there. And maybe I'll leave that until I actually have the plumbing done, because for now that doesn't really do anything. So what we're going to need for bathrooms is a water well. So it looks like there's capacity for potentially 2 water wells here. So maybe I'll put... I'll dig into the mountain right in this spot and put a water well there. And then we're also going to want the wind pumps. So I'm going to mine a whole bunch of iron so that it can make iron wind pumps. So Dars is going to need to do a lot of mining, which is fine because I'm about to get work drive done again. So let's go work drive him, because he is going to be a busy bee. So here we go. We are putting a water well here, and that gives space to putting a water well down here as well. Once this initial structure is broken down, and then paired with the wind pump, we're also going to want a water tower. And we're going to want all the required plumbing as well. So the thought that I had for the future is that this will be a greenhouse, and the greenhouse will serve to keep all of the farm and everything, you know, the appropriate temperature and all that. So what I want to start to do is to lay out flagstone where it's rough soil, because the rough soil is really not going to be farmable ever. And this is where I'm going to set up the infrastructure for water processing. And I am going to briefly high priority haul everything. And also, let's say, suspending the block cutting as well. Ew, we have a rotting duckling. So for rotting animals... I don't really have a good place to put them. I think what I'll do is just dump it here for now, just as like a one-off, and then try not to have that situation happen again. Where are you going? Oh, you're hauling coal? Sure. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Lycan Legion. which originally streamed live on Twitch September 1st. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind that many details about the series were kept intentionally secret, and those secrets will not be revealed. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow legionaries.